Hey guys, welcome to Simply Bitcoin, a channel that breaks down all the daily Bitcoin news from Twitter to important updates to the cringy daily fails. We've got it all. But before we get started, drop us a like. Don't forget to subscribe. All right, let's kick it off with the Clark Moody dashboard. All right, so block height, 647,823. We're looking at a Bitcoin price of 10,364. Chain rewrite days, 548, and total lightning capacity, an uneventful 1,064.11 BTC. So now 1,064 BTC on lightning capacity is uneventful.
I know, right? We just want more. We just want more, bro. We're greedy. We're used to that orange coin technology. Phil, I think it's time for the daily fail.
Yes. All right. And shout out to fellow viewer and fellow Bitcoiner, BTC DVTT. He picked this one up today for us, late day, and it is Tim Draper's. So this is pretty interesting, right? T tweeted this out, and let's go take a look at it. All right, was Tim Draper's Twitter account hacked, or did he really tweet about Bitcoin Cash?
I think he tweeted about it.
So he actually did tweet about Bitcoin Cash, which is freaking hilarious. We actually weren't wrong. Okay, so, which is kind of cool. You know, we weren't wrong.
So the Bitcoin. Remember we followed it up. We followed up from one of his companies that said that it wasn't him, that his account got hacked. So it was him.
Well, if you listen, so look, I don't know. Okay, I'll put this on.
Okay, put it on,
and you'll see how this goes. Okay, this is pretty funny.
And so I did attempt.
Draper, this is a question that I don't know if you would like to answer or not. You can tell me. But in a couple of days ago, we saw a tweet from you about Bitcoin Cash.
Oh yeah. Well, I talked to Roger there, and he did create a token. I didn't realize it had security from, but he did create a token that was easily moved. And so, I did.
That's all it takes.
That tweet in. Then I did a little more research and I pulled it off. But, he
did put that tweet in, then I pulled it off. It's kind of wishy-washy there, He's not. Anyways, that's funny stuff.
Can we
busted?
All right. So what's the lesson from this?
Oh man, the lesson. There's I don't know if there's even a good lesson from this. It's just
don't trust billionaires.
Well, I mean, forget about you know what? It's don't have heroes, which we've done that lesson before, right? Don't have heroes, but it just teaches us, be critical.
I like it. Be critical. Okay. I mean, you know what's awesome about the Bitcoin community though, Phil, is that I think that we're all critical by nature. So
not inclusive enough, but we're critical.
Exactly. All right. So it's time for the daily meme review, Phil. Cool. All right. So we got Bitcoin Meme Hub and we got really cool pieces of art. It's Jamie Dimon. Bitcoin is going to be stopped. One Bitcoin, $386. Wow. It's terrible. In March 2014, $615. Bitcoin is in a store of value as little as wealth is in Bitcoin. No assets in it. Also, given price volatility, is a lousy store of value. Nouriel Rubini. I hate that guy so much.
Oh, he's the worst.
To me, Bitcoin looks like a modern day Tulip Mania. $362, November 2013. Wow. You know what? I was going to give it a worse score. But after reading the messages, they were actually pretty fucking powerful. Yeah. So I'm going to give it a better score than I initially was going to give it. All right. Drum roll, please. I'm going to give it a 7.5. What about you, Phil?
You ready?
A 10.
Yep.
A 10?
10.
Wow. Okay. Why a 10, Phil?
I'm giving a 10 because these guys, the people that they're showing in those portraits, okay, have been, you know what, have been some of the greatest Bitcoin shills ever without even wanting to be. So, you know what? As much as I hate them, I thank them so much for being so wrong publicly all the time.
Absolutely. And I think that just goes to show, man, like, you can't kill fucking Bitcoin, bro. Honey Badger don't die.
Honey Badger just doesn't give a shit.
Honey Badger just doesn't give a shit. It's time for the Daily News, sponsored by... Man, this was really cool. And remember a couple weeks ago when Amnesty International announced that it was accepting Bitcoin? Well, this is more of the same message, right? You know, this is what Simply Bitcoin does. It gives you awesome, bullish Bitcoin news, and this is super bullish. Belarus, a nonprofit, helps protesters with Bitcoin grants. And if you guys don't know about Belarus, Belarus is a country to the west of Russia, right? It borders Russia on the western side, and the regime there hasn't really changed since the fall of the Soviet Union. So technically, it is a democratic country, but it is very dictator-ish, and they do have, you know, they don't value freedom of speech there. So the regime has responded to protests with mass arrests, internet shutdowns, and threats to get help from Russia. You know, so it threatens Russia to try to, you know, scare the population into doing its will. And man, it's really cool that people are using Bitcoin to kind of, you know, do exactly what Bitcoiners have been preaching for so long. It's just using it to kind of skirt away from capital controls. And if you want to protest for your liberty and your freedom, you know, you don't have to be scared of the government just automatically freezing your account or associating those funds with a protester's account, right? So this is really cool. So shout out to the Belarus nonprofit. If you guys want to find out more about them or even donate, I will put that in the link description. And the next piece of news we're following up from yesterday, which Phil found, the Crypto Open Patent Alliance, which is the COPA, which we talked about yesterday, which is Jack Dorsey's nonprofit, which was launched by Square, actually just joined forces with Blockstream. And Blockstream is one of the biggest companies right now in helping developing Bitcoin. They launched the satellite into space, the Block satellite into space. And then they also helping develop it Liquid, which is, you know, helping the transaction rate of Bitcoin. So this is really exciting. You know, we were talking shit about it yesterday, Phil, but, you know, Blockstream's they don't put up with shit coins. They're all Bitcoin, man. And the fact that they're okay with, you know, aligning themselves with Square, I think is a really, really cool sign to me. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, but technically Liquid is a form of shitcoining on Bitcoin. You know, people are going to obviously disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. But not to say that Blockstream is shitcoiners. They're not. But still, I am still weary of COPA.
Yeah. I think
I'm always weary of these things. Like, it doesn't matter. I'd rather sit there and be weary to begin with and do the research and slowly break down the barriers of mistrust, then come in there and be all like, this is all wonderful, it's all kumbaya and everybody's in love.
And then get wrecked.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Okay. I agree with that. 100%. Phil, there's a pretty big software release. Why don't you tell us about it?
Software releases. Very big. We've got Electrum version 4.03. And coming out in that is PSBT support, UTXO and witness _UTXO, cold card multi-sig improvement, automated BIP39 recovery, and other refactoring and bugs. So,
awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, guys, remember that if you're going to update your Electrum, always check the signature. If you don't know how to do that, there's plenty of videos online. And just to make sure that you're not downloading any malicious software, and always update from electrum.org, no other source. Phil, I know you have an awesome podcast with a really cool Bitcoiner coming out next week. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yes. So some people may not know who Zlock is on Twitter, but Zlock is an old school Bitcoiner who just he's just kind of like this voice of reason, quite often. And it's interesting because he doesn't see himself this way, but like quite often, like you'll be in the middle of like some massive stupid Twitter argument, and like he'll chime in, and all of a sudden it just kind of like makes sense. It's like, oh, why wasn't I paying attention to this? Anyways, we sat down, had a great chat, and it's dropping next Thursday. So check it out on the Fun with Bitcoin podcast.
Dude, I'm looking forward to it. I love Zlock. He's the guy that designed the honey badger, isn't
That's
he?
right.
That CoinKite uses.
Original honey badger that CoinKite uses.
Sick, man. I'm gonna look forward to that. I don't watch a lot of podcasts, but I'm gonna definitely tune into that one. Go check it out, the Fun with Bitcoin podcast. Anyways, guys, that was it for this week. Have an awesome weekend. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, tune in next week for more Simply Bitcoin and no shitcoinery. See you guys later.